Hey, what's going on everybody? Here we have it, the iQOO Neo 10 Indian retail unit. Once again, this is purchased with my own money, no sponsors, no brand endorsements on my channel. The only reason I purchased this is because I wanted to continue my performance investigation that I started with the iQOO 13. I basically purchased this out of sheer curiosity. Of course, I'm going to cover other topics with this phone, but yeah, performance and throttling behavior is actually my main interest with this phone. Alright, please like, share and subscribe. It costs me a lot of money to create this non-sponsored content, so your support is much appreciated. With that said, let's start the unboxing. Alright, so I have the 8 256GB model which costs me 32,000 rupees. I am also supposed to get the iQOO earbuds, but it hasn't arrived yet. Inside we got the phone, keeping it aside. We got some paperwork, a clear case, and this beast of a 120 watt adapter. I love this iQOO PD adapter. It can fast charge all my devices, my laptop, my ROG Ally. It can even fast charge my Samsung phone and tablet. Alright, let's take a look at the phone now. Boy, it is massive. It's not too heavy actually. Here's a quick size comparison with my Xiaomi 15 and the difference is huge. Wow, the iQOO Neo 10 is ginormous in size compared to my Xiaomi 15. It's significantly taller and wider, but it's actually thinner. I also spotted this Easter egg. If you tilt the phone and when the light strikes at the correct angle, you can see the words Neo Power to Win. Not sure what that means, but it's there. Alright, let's boot up the phone and set it up. I always like to disable these things and also disable auto updates. Okay, the phone has boot up. I'll come back with my first impressions. So here I'm back with some first impressions. Let's start with the build. So my previous iQOO phone was the iQOO 13 and obviously the build of the iQOO Neo 10 isn't comparable to the iQOO 13. The Neo 10 has a plastic back and looks like plastic frame as well. Nothing wrong with this at this price. It's just not that premium feeling or anything. The phone is just as huge as the iQOO 13 but it's much lighter. And it's pretty slim as well despite featuring a huge 7000 mAh battery. The USB Type-C port below is USB 2 variety without any DisplayPort alt support, so say goodbye to the possibilities of Android 16 desktop mode. And also the haptic feedback is decent, but it's not even close to the iQOO 13. The fingerprint scanner is of the optical variety. After using ultrasonic fingerprint scanners on the iQOO 13, OnePlus 13 and the Xiaomi 15, these optical scanners feel slow even though these are still fast and accurate. It's just that you need a bit more pressure. The position of this fingerprint scanner is too low in my opinion though. The display is a 6.78 inch 144Hz AMOLED panel with a resolution of 2800 by 1260. This does not look as sharp as the 3168 by 1440 display panel on the iQOO 13, but it's more than enough for most people. However, what's crazy is the claimed peak HDR brightness of 5500 nits. So I'm gonna explore more about HDR capabilities of this display because I am an HDR fanatic. It does look really bright in HDR, but I also see some issues, kind of similar to the ones with the iQOO 13, and that is with HDR tone mapping. So the screen right now is super bright, but I'm heavily underexposing the camera to show the highlights. So check out this scene, which is mastered for 2000 nits. But the iQOO Neo 10 is blowing out the highlights. It's strange because the display is actually really bright. It should easily handle this 2000 nit scene. The display is blazing at the moment, but it's still just blowing out the highlights. I think it's just unable to decode some of these HDR scenes accurately. It doesn't happen with all the scenes, but I'm spotting some issues with the HDR processing. I'm actually more interested in local HDR game streaming via Sunshine and Moonlight, not so much interested in YouTube and Netflix HDR, so I'll check that out at a later date. For now, the display can actually get seriously bright, but the HDR tone mapping looks to be broken. I think it's the fault of Funtouch OS 15 because the same issue does not happen with the iQOO 7 in our household, which runs Funtouch OS 14. Also, the display is easily visible outdoors under direct sunlight, no issues there. For the software, I'm not gonna spend much time because there are enough videos about Funtouch OS 15. Here's the bloatware situation. Not too bad, can be uninstalled. To be honest, I am not against bloatware at this price range because this is what that helps keep the price down. Just a little effort can help get rid of all these bloatware. That said, I don't like the fact that iQOO does not allow bootloader unlocking. It's a damn shame. I would love to run some stock Android ROM on the iQOO devices. I'm also not going to spend much time on the camera on this video. I'm really happy to see that iQOO has provided the feature to disable noise reduction in Pro Video mode, something that OnePlus does not even allow and even Xiaomi does not allow. Being able to disable noise reduction for video makes a huge difference in terms of detail capture. I have demonstrated that benefit on the iQOO 13. Go check that video out. Also, it allows you to do 240 FPS at 1080p. This is real 240 FPS with audio capture. Plus, you can control all the metrics like focus and colors like white balance, ISO, everything is there. So that's a great pro video mode. Here are some photos. The half-inch Sony IMX882 is a pretty common sensor at this point on mid-range phones. The images are just fine, not oversaturated. HDR is almost always spot on, but the images can be over-sharpened, which is a complaint that I had even with the iQOO 13. Overall, these images are par for the course in this price range for this type of performance-oriented phone. Here is a 4K 60 FPS video sample from the main rear camera. And here is a 4K 60 FPS video sample from the front facing camera. It looks like to me that there is no EIS enabled for the front facing camera. I actually tried 1080p 30 FPS I guess, and even there the EIS looked to be disabled. I'm not sure if the front facing camera actually has EIS on the iQOO Neo 10. I'll see if I can make a dedicated video on the camera performance of the Neo 10. It's not high priority as of now though. Finally, here are some benchmark numbers that I captured with the iQOO Neo 10 in monster mode. Snapdragon 8s Gen 4 is basically right in line with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in terms of the CPU. I will definitely make a dedicated video on the performance and throttling behavior analysis, so stay tuned for that. So this was a quick look at the iQOO Neo 10. Stay tuned for more content. I'll be going out for a couple of days for work purpose. I'm making these videos while juggling a very heavy professional life. I can't pump out videos like other YouTubers, but I'm trying my best. So please consider supporting the channel by hitting the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Alright guys, take care and I'll soon catch you in the next one. Peace.